has much to prove here this week.
So, the same is the first round. 3 challenges per set, 1 more the tie break, net machine, and TV changeover. Any questions? The number or build? Number here?
Okay, number.
Sir, good match.
Carlos Bernardes is the man in charge for the second semi-final of the day. Blake winning the toss and electing to serve. Well, we've seen some good matches this week. Confirmation that Blake didn't have to beat Federer yesterday. The world number 2 withdrew. But Tsonga certainly had to beat Roddick.
He most certainly did, and he played a good match. I don't think Roddick played that badly yesterday, but Tsonga was outstanding in that third set. Some of the stuff he came up with was amazing. Remember, he lost the opening set, so he had a lot of work to do. And in that second set, he saved something like 10 break points against the American, and he was 0 for 10.
No, he had his back against the wall for much of that match, and I think that's why the crowd really responded to him at the end. He had to fight so hard in order to make it through to today's semi-finals. Just the one title so far that he's been able to win throughout the course of his career. That was in Bangkok. Most recently, ended September, and he defeated Novak Djokovic in the final there, 7-6, 6-4, so had to work hard for it. And his season, Robbie, has had plenty of highs, but also 1 or 2 lows, because, of course, he had to have that operation on his right knee and wasn't able to play the French Open and Wimbledon. So I think that's why this tournament means so much to him, because it's really a homecoming of sorts after all that he was able to achieve at the beginning of the season.
Exactly. It wasn't like he could come back straight away and play here and really show the French everything he had been able to achieve firsthand. So this tournament, the perfect showcase. And I think if he goes deep here, if he goes on to win this tournament, I think he might just break into the top 10 in the world. And what a way that would be to finish off 2008, considering all that's happened.
I'm worried to win the tournament, obviously. He would qualify for the Tennis Masters Cup as well, so there are still plenty for him to play for. And all 3 of his matches this week, Robbie, have also included highs and lows. He was struggling after the opening set against Stepanek. He looked awful in the second set against Djokovic. And, of course, yesterday against Roddick, as you've already suggested, in that second set, he had his back against the wall for much of it, having to fend off break point after break point. But still, he's managed to find a way to win.
Yes, and for me, that's why I'm touting him to be a top 5 player, because I think if you can beat the quality of those kind of guys on your screen right there, but when he's not playing his best tennis, I think it'll just show you how tough he'll be to beat when he is playing his best tennis. And the only guys in the top 10 who really have got the better of him this year are the number 1, 2, and 3 player.
Now, talk to me a little bit about the quality of Blake's season, because, of course, he was a finalist in Delray Beach. He was runner-up in Houston, and more recently he's been a semi-finalist in Halle on the grass before Wimbledon, and of course at the Olympics, where he was heartbreakingly close to picking up a medal. But for me, I would suggest it's been a slightly disappointing season, because no titles at all, and his record in the majors very poor.
Yeah, just the 1 quarter-final in Oz this year, but outside of the majors, he's been very consistent at tour level. And I'm sure if you ask somebody like James, for him, it's all about winning the big events. That's what he really plays the game for now. He's achieved a lot already, but in order for him to be satisfied with the year, I think he wants to go deep in the majors, and he wants to win these Master Series titles, and that hasn't happened in 08 yet.
And I think the icing on the cake would be if he were to obviously finish the regular season with a win, and in doing so qualify for the Tennis Masters Cup in Shanghai. Then the season suddenly would become a pretty good one. Really struggled initially against Simone Bolelli. We know the Italian is an excellent shot maker, but finished that match strongly, was comfortable throughout the course of the encounter with Philip Kohlschreiber, and then was a little fortunate yesterday. He doesn't have a good record against Federer, yet interestingly he had beaten the world number 2 the last time they met in Beijing at the Olympics. So if you ask him, I'm sure he would have said, hey, I stand as good a chance as anybody in beating Federer yesterday. And unfortunately we didn't get to see how that one would have panned out. Nevertheless, it means that Blake is one win away from qualifying for the Tennis Masters Cup. So this afternoon's match with added spice. Carlos Bernardes is the umpire, one of the best in the business, no question about that, and he will have a part to play because they'll have to make sure the crowd are fair. Great to have them involved as much of the time as possible, but it's got to make sure that he's fair to both players. And I guess, Robbie, it's so important for Tsonga to give them something to cheer initially in the match.
Yeah, Carlos will be fair, that you can bet, but I don't know if the crowd's going to be fair. They're going to be as biased as they possibly can. Eric Winigrowski played a bit of tennis with Jason for a little while in his career, and that's what elevated him to the status that he has now as a supreme coach. That's what he told me anyway.
That's what sent him into retirement, I think, at a very early age.
He's done a good job with Tsonga, and I'm sure there'll be a meaningful partnership going forward.
Yeah, and speaking of meaningful partnerships, Blake obviously enjoys one with his coach as well, Brian Barker. They've been together since Blake was 12 years of age, and nice to see both player and coach wanting to stick with each other throughout the course of a career.
Yeah, a couple of tough times this season, and but great partnerships, great relationships always survive the tough times, and I think that's what's so admirable about the one between Barker and Blake. It's almost a rarity in our sport these days, so good to see. He's going to love the pace, he's going to feed off it, and he's going to try and match Tsonga shot for shot. This guy doesn't back off for anyone.
Also in the house. Well, he's had a good result there.
Always nice to be seated next to a pretty French woman. He was yesterday against Roddick in the opening couple of games. A much brighter start for him here.
Break point. Speedy footwork and the ability to really hurt with that forehand. Speaking of fantastic shot makers and graceful athletes, Emily Maresmo's in the house. Just how quick Blake is around the court against many other players. Tsonga would have won that rally on the penultimate shot.
Well, I think he thought he did. A little bit surprised the ball came back on that occasion.
The play when you're up against Tsonga, force him to play out of position and off balance on that backhand. Definitely the weaker of the two ground strokes. Saving great points along the way before eventually holding. Blake is a very confident individual. He won't be overawed by the occasion. A relatively late challenge from Tsonga, and Blake finding it slightly ludicrous that he was able to challenge in the end.
I'm already taking a drink.
And they do say that
they can come and look. If they took a look and ask me, and then they can do it. No, they can.
I was making of it, a confident individual. Won't be overawed by this scenario at all.
Yeah, relish it. Loves a good fight, does Blake. He's played some huge Davis Cup matches. He'll relish the challenge. Proud parents, Didier and Evelyn. Didier was a pretty good handball player. He used to play for Congo. So a bit of athletic genes passed down to his son.
School teacher, so she helps to keep him nice and grounded. They're all in this afternoon, and saw Barami as well.
Mansur has been a permanent fixture here this week. Loves his tennis. Still in pretty good shape.
Return of serve. Takes the ball so early, and that's going to be one of the real challenges that Tsonga faces this afternoon. He's going to have to get a high percentage of first serves in, because if he doesn't, he may be put to the sword as he was there.
One of the features of his game, and even if he misses like that, it sends a strong message to his opponent. Bob Ryan as well in the house, to Coach Barker, Davis Cup teammate. Don't forget they won it last year, did the Americans.
Tasting his own medicine now.
Clubs that forehand.
Quite found the rhythm on his serve yet. He's only made 5 of 12 first serves. Would it be fair to suggest, Robbie, that there's a lower margin for error when Blake is playing from the back of the court?
Absolutely, hits the ball pretty flat. When his timing's on, he's devastating. Or when it's a little off, can be high-risk stuff.
Golden opportunity for Tsonga. First blood to the Frenchman. And Tsonga has started this match very brightly indeed. He's won 9 of the last 12 points to lead 2-1. Must be quite nice in a way for Tsonga to be facing Blake today after playing Roddick. Because of course, if you manage to deal with Roddick's serve, anything else virtually is relatively easy.
Absolutely, you must feel like you've got so much time on the ball after you play against Andy. Remember how well he dealt with the American serve in that second and third set of the encounter yesterday.
Reduced Roddick to just a handful of aces in both sets 2 and 3, after serving 9 in the first. But I guess the downside then in facing Blake over Roddick is that Blake is slightly more aggressive from the back of the court. You get slightly less rhythm against him than perhaps you would do against Andy.
Excellent point. You don't have to worry about baseline rallies at the certain point. Beautiful. That's number 3. And it's 8 points on the trot for the Frenchman.
To see somebody willing to come forward as much as Tsonga. Occasionally on the low volleys he can look a little cumbersome, but generally speaking he's got nice feel up there. Loves the little drop volley too, so keep an eye out for that as well.
from Blake, returning the favour.
If you are looking for similarities between Roddick and Blake, sometimes the speed with which they're able to hold serve is very similar. 3-2, first set.
Well, there's a French tennis legend.
And perhaps another in the making.
Absolutely. He's got a strong wave on him already. And right arm's looking pretty buff. Henri Leconte, for those of you who didn't recognize him.
But how could you not?
Absolutely. Such a character.
Still very popular on the seniors tour. Had the good fortune to work with him during the Australian Open last year. Very nice guy.
From both players, little rolling backhands, but it's anticipation from Tsonga that was so good. Knew exactly where he needed to be. Some players just have a better feel for that than others. Tsonga's reading of the player around the net is particularly good. That's what you call an authoritative hold.
Well, it's still just the one break that separates these two. attitude this afternoon. It's a big match. It's very easy to get a little tight, given it's such. And there's been none of that this afternoon. Winning shots flowing freely from his racket. Has the right to stop the rally, make the challenge, and she's under a little bit of pressure now. But she was right, and JW was mistaken. Just a millimetre in it. Terrific call. Superb stuff.
Such a feature of Blake's game. There's two things you tell me about James Blake, or ask me about him. The first thing I tell you, he's got a big forehand, and the second thing is that he's always going after your second serve. Trademark.
James Blake is coming to call the left center line in the ball.
You heard him call that was out before the ball bounced, so the umpire allowing him the challenge. It's just caught the line. So the boys of the virtual worlds are on their game too.
Such a high-risk play from Tsonga. This shot isn't a winner, he's in big trouble. He's going at the highest part of the net. He's got very little court to work with as well. Look how far he's inside the baseline when he hits it. And just singing it past his ear.
Well, Tsonga has got this crowd buzzing at that. There can be absolutely no doubt whatsoever. The quality of the tennis we've seen so far has been top draw.
It's an angry forehand from Blake.
That's the perfect way of describing it. It's now an important game because, irrespective of the fact that if he loses it, he will lose this set. That's important to note, but he will certainly not want to allow Tsonga the advantage of serving first in the second.
Driving net, old school, love it. So underutilized, and I tell you what, he's got a good slice as well. That one barely got off the court surface.
James Blake is counting the ball, right center line, the ball is gone out.
Both players just have one challenge remaining, so this is a big one. It's wide. So Blake's done and dusted.
Blake has no more time.
And after yesterday's debacle, over the amount of challenges that Roddick had left, we do well to remember that.
set point.
Maybe that's the best way to save him. Don't feel any of that pressure. This time, he has definitely won the game. It's still the one break that separates these two. Tsonga leads 5-4. Can't help but be impressed with the way that Tsonga's come out of the blocks this afternoon in a match of this magnitude. And he's thrilled the fans in the opening 9 games here. This is the most important game of the set.
Serve has been phenomenal so far in this match.
Only dropped 4 points in all. Stepping up to the line so far. And here he is at set point. Serve was enough in the end to separate the two. The fans have had plenty to cheer throughout the course of the opening 30 minutes. Tsonga pockets the set, 6 games to 4. It's the perfect start to the second set. The Frenchman is in the zone.
He's decided that he is going to determine his own outcome. He's not going to be dictated to today. Big question is, can he keep up this level?
Think back to the beginning of the year when Tsonga beat the likes of Nadal so brutally in the Australian Open. The answer to that question at that stage of the season was yes. I think that's what surprised everybody in that particular match. They were expecting him to come down off this enormous high, and it never happened.
Well, I think a lot of people forget that he beat Andy Murray in the first round there in Australia.
Brilliant. He's hit some phenomenal passing shots so far this week.
Well, that's already the 18th winner from him. He's a good 3 or 4 meters behind the baseline.
Well, he's asking the umpire here what the deal is, because the linesman's chair made
but now it's too late.
Because
now it's at the end of the point. I'm looking at the ball. Well, I didn't see where it's coming. I saw nothing.
The front of the chair fell to the floor. And usually the umpire will call on that if they see or hear anything throughout the course of a rally. Carlos Bernardes didn't hear it on that occasion, but Tsonga certainly suggesting that he was put off. Made it! The perfect start to this second set. Tsonga continues to impress and inspire.
Cannot do it.
James Blake is not the kind of player that's easy to cross around the court. So far, JW is bullying him.
Forcing Blake to win the point yet again. It's always important to hold serve at any stage of any match, but particularly so here, having just broken. He's got to continue to assert his authority and not allow Blake to harbour any ambitions at all of getting back into the match. This afternoon.
He's been relentless. Just can't afford to drop it short against him because his attacking options are many.
Another excellent service game. And Blake quickly running out of ideas here. It's worth remembering that this is the first meeting between the two, so I'm sure Blake is a little shell-shocked and surprised at how well his opponent's playing. How much firepower he has in every single department of his game.
people who say that he resembles the great Muhammad Ali, and right now he's delivering some devastating blows.
Had this been a boxing bout, perhaps would have been stopped by now. This afternoon. Simply can't handle it. Break point.
Single play, single play.
That's what he's saying to himself. Initially thought it was going out. I think he was hoping that it was going to go out. From where I'm sitting, I think it was going to be good. It was the right shot in the end. He had to play it.
It's going to be fascinating to see whether that missed volley on the previous point comes back to haunt him. Difficult to put that out of his mind. The last French winner of this particular tournament, Sébastien Grosjean, victorious here in 2001.
Please. Sure, Blake.
Well, that was a fascinating game for many reasons, but Blake crucially holding the serve in the end to reduce the arrears to just a single game, but it's Tsonga still with a sizable advantage. That's amazing, really, given the athleticism that we've seen on display this afternoon. It's worth remembering that Tsonga has had an awful lot of injuries throughout the course of his career. Herniated his disc in 2004, had injuries to his shoulder, his back and his abs in 2005. And of course, had an operation on his right knee earlier this season, which forced him to miss the French Open and Wimbledon. So he's done amazingly well to recover from all of those ailments.
Blake's had his fair share of injuries as well. Who can forget back in 2004 when he broke the vertebra in his neck. He slid into the net post during practice in Rome. Missed a bunch of tennis. And of course the tragic passing away of his father affected him. So he's had his fair share of incidents to overcome as well, and testimony to the character of both these players, and to overcome the tough times and still produce.
I think the fact that they've been through the hard times will make them appreciate matches like this all the more.
Absolutely. Double digits for JW. Impressive. This is a masterclass in all-court tennis. Some great groundies, but look at the touch with the volley. Absorbs all the pace of the pass. Plenty of slice. It's been impressive at the net the last couple of matches.
I think the fact that Tsonga's passed so well in the match so far has led to Blake going ever closer to the lines on shots like that.
That's what all good players force you to do. Get the ball ever closer to the lines. Feel like what you're doing is not enough and you need to press.
Sure, Blake.
Well, this second set still has a ways to go. It's Tsonga who leads 3-2. Semi-final action on day 6 of our live coverage here in the last event of the regular season, the 9th Masters Series event of the season. Jason Goodall alongside Robbie Koenig for this one. Thoroughly enjoying every minute of
it. 220 k's an hour, that one. And he's so entertaining to watch, isn't he, Tsonga? He really has got everything.
Difficult to execute that shot with just the one hand on the backhand.
Yeah, the double-handers, they got the additional use of the left hand, helps them to flick the ball a little bit better and creates a little bit more topspin. Keeps hitting that serve in that spot. They're going to need one of those divot repairers.
With all that we've seen so far this afternoon from the Frenchman. Phenomenal athleticism and terrific shot making. And Tsonga now just 2 games away from a place in the final.
For missing out one wide because he had Tsonga beaten with the lob.
Tsonga challenged immediately. It must have felt pretty good as it left the racket. Very, very hard to obviously see baseline, the other end of the court. Let's see what they say in the Cartoon Kingdom. Slap that on the line. Shot in order to win the point. That's exactly what they tell you to do in the textbook. It's pretty basic and inch perfect, the combination of the two. A heady cocktail.
Sure, Blake.
That's all he can do. And he's had to do that for much of this match. He's trailed throughout, and it's Tsonga who still leads 4-3. Well, we mentioned the fact that Tsonga did have that operation to his right knee, which forced him to miss the French Open and Wimbledon. But I think the bonus having to have a little bit of time off there is the fact that he's so fresh at the end of the season now.
Absolutely, excellent point. Hungry to play more tennis when a lot of guys are jaded. Shot selection is outstanding. He's anticipating everything beautifully. Look at the athleticism from him there.
We've seen him obviously have some big wins this week against the likes of Roddick and Djokovic, but the consistency of his performance is so much better today than it has been previously. Because of little letdowns within those other matches, but so far, well, up today.
Well, Blake has had a single break point in this match.
More indication of further evidence were needed with Tsonga's domination on serve throughout. Blake needs to hold here to stay alive. Look about him. I don't think he's got any clue really as to what he needs to do in order to fight his way back in the match. I think he's relying on Tsonga losing his concentration or getting a little tight.
Disappointed he missed that one wide.
My dad will be relaxed but slightly pensive.
What can you say? So many great shots already in this match. Blake matching athleticism with athleticism.
To go cross court. Superb shot selection. He hasn't hit a foot wrong so far.
to replace.
Just need to replace one of the balls. It's the last thing I'd be worrying about. 5-3 down, 30 all.
No, it's similar that one that they have. Let's see.
Hasn't had as many free points on serve as he would have wanted this afternoon. First ace of the second set. It's been a disjointed performance, but Tsonga hasn't allowed him to get into any kind of rhythm, has he?
Absolutely. More credit to Tsonga. He's hardly put a foot wrong in this match.
Away from victory. He's there. Season. He can hardly believe it. And neither can the fans. It's been a real treat for all of those privileged enough to be courtside this afternoon. As Tsonga moves through to his very first Masters Series final. And his Tennis Masters Cup dream is still very much alive. The Frenchman through to tomorrow's final in two blistering sets, 6-4, 6-3.
I don't think James Blake can quite believe it either. It's not often that the American gets bullied into submission, and that's exactly what happened today. It was just too hot, too heavy in all departments. Oh, what a precious shirt. Thanks, Percy. He knew he was going to do well this week, doesn't he?
Well, I think they made that one up pretty quickly over the course of the last couple of days, but he certainly needs to thank the crowd because they've helped him ride this emotional wave throughout the course of the week.
And hasn't he responded beautifully? He sure has, because the opening couple of matches were a battle for him. But today, he repaid them tenfold with a performance that was of the highest order. And when we take a look at these numbers, you will see how impressive they are. The serve fired on all cylinders. Look how successful he was with both the first and second serve. But look at the winners to unforced errors, almost double and then some, and creating a host of breakpoint opportunities. And Blake really didn't know what had hit him. He was taken advantage of on the second serve. Blake had no chance to get into the match. Winners to unforced errors was pretty good for Blake. It just shows you that Blake wasn't playing that badly.
No, he was just forced into submission. It's as simple as that. And I think what surprised us all as well was we were waiting for him to just lose his intensity a little bit, to perhaps lose his concentration, as he had done in his previous matches. It didn't happen today at all, and that's why he was able to win the match so comfortably in straight sets. So what a match. It was definitely worth the wait, and we are going to be treated in style tomorrow afternoon. It'll be the defending champion, David Nalbandian, taking on the Frenchman, Jo-Wilfried Tsonga. Remember that no one has ever successfully defended the title here in Paris, and Tsonga needs to win tomorrow in order to qualify for the Tennis Masters Cup, as does Nalbandian.
Absolutely, but with this win today, Tsonga has now cemented himself in the top 10 in the rankings. So that's another milestone in his career, so well done on that department, but it's all to play for tomorrow.